Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to discuss Solana and its SOL token. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. The price of SOL is coming in at around $207. It coincides with that 0.786 drawn from the 2021 highs to the 2022 lows. That 0.786 Fibonacci level is at around $206.71. This particular level has been acting as a somewhat of a resistance over the last 2 to 3 weeks, where the price goes at a weekly high to that level, meets the resistance over that 206 level and does come back down. So let's see if historically speaking these levels, after acting as resistance, what happens when the price action breaks out of that level, usually accompanied by a rally back to the bottom of the range. So for example, over here, when the price broke out from the 618, went back and tested the 0.5 fib level. From that level, from that drop, the price did go all the way back to the 0.786 and has retraced back to 0.618 from the initial rally to that phase. And potentially we are in this phase, arguably, where the two candles with the larger bodies at a distinct Fibonacci level. So for example, from 382 to 0.5, then 0.5 to 0.618, and now from 0.618 to 0.786 have occurred have occurred already. So what remains is, if the rally in the next weeks to months has an upward or bullish bias, then the breakout from here, especially after spending 1 to 3 weeks in a prolonged upturn at that resistance level, is more likely than not. Again, not financial advice. If that were to happen, the price of Solana and SOL token would be close to that $260, which was the 2021 high. In 2025, early 2025, the price did go at a weekly high at around $295, but the weekly close was less than the previous all-time high at around $260. So that's the next level to watch for, the $260 to the upside. To the downside, if there is a further correction in September, the 20-week simple moving average for SOL is at around $166. The 21-week exponential moving average is at around $173. So those are the two averages of somewhat of a major attention from the technical analysis perspective. Moving to the machine learning based price forecast for SOL, the 1 standard deviation non-Euphoria bull run peak estimated by this machine learning model trend on weekly price action of SOL since its inception in April 2020, using seasonal ARIMA. The 1 standard deviation non-Euphoria bull case ceiling, that is at a weekly average for this week ending on August 31st, is a weekly average of $216. As we move towards the end of September, that 1 standard deviation ceiling is at $270 towards the end of October, early November at around $320, end of November at $347, and end of December at around, roughly speaking, $385. The Euphoria case for SOL, the 2 standard deviation ceiling over the next 6 months, with the hypothesis that the underlying crypto asset class and SOL in particular has a Euphoria phase in the next 6 months before the bull market concludes. In that scenario, with 95% confidence or 95 percentile confidence level, the ceiling estimated by this machine learning based price forecast is between, for this week, at around $233, end of September at around $333, end of October $426, end of November close to $500, and end of December $570. So that's the Euphoria case for SOL in the next 6 months. Again, we don't consider January at this point as part of this bull run. If that changes, we will take a look at that. In this particular instance of the bull run, again, the current price sentiment or the current social sentiment over the last 24 hours is kind of neutral. It has not reached a peak Euphoria where the social sentiment is higher than 90. It's in the middle of the pack, using the last 24 hours worth of news and related to crypto, and using machine learning models to classify if they're bullish, bearish, or neutral. This is available on cryptoweeklies.com, the link on the bottom of your screen. This is the crypto TLDR. Then we look at the peak valley to identify what is the what is the current bull market completion using top 100 cryptos by market cap. As of 3 days ago on August 24th, the bull market is less than 50% complete based on what the price action of the top 100 cryptos are behaving based on the volatility, alpha, beta, Sharpe ratio, and percent drawdown. This is a one historical snapshot of what happens throughout the course of the 4-year market cycle, where the risk gets elevated in the post halving year, then dies down. So for example, in 2021 over here, and then dies down in the bear market year when the risk is less than 10%, or less than 20%, when the color code is blue in color. Then in the recovery year and the halving year, the risk kind of get elevated, and the post halving year they eventually have a market cycle peak. So again, right now we are not in that phase where the whole asset class is in a blow off top moment per the bull market completion analysis. So, and in terms of the word cloud over the last 7 days, these are the narratives. Again, you can see the size of the bearish narrative is equal to the size of, or slightly more than the size of the bullish narratives across the social media platforms over the last 7 days. This is sourced from YouTube and X. The discussion related to crypto and what emerging narratives occur based on the term frequencies of these major crypto related terms. This is a BERT based machine learning model trying to summarize what is happening at a higher level in terms of the social media discussions related to major crypto. You can see right now, although SOL is at around $200, most of the discussions are around Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the other low cap altcoins such as Hedera, XRP over here. But Solana, unfortunately, right now is not garnering much of the attention on the social media platforms. The whole wider altcoin related narrative has also died down right now. Bitcoin and ETH are controlling the market. You can see the performance over the last 24 hours. SOL is leading the pack to about up by about 4.5% over the last 7 days as well. It's SOL's season over the last 7 days, 13.5%. But if you look towards the last 30 days, it's more ETH season. This link is again a ETH. ETH part ERC token. Again, ETH is the third best rallying crypto over the last 30 days or the last 90 days as well. ETH being the top rallying crypto. Again, SOL is not too far behind over the last 30 days, up by about 12% and fourth most rallying crypto in the same league. But over the last 90 days, it's again almost 1/3 of what ETH did over the last 90 days, up by about 80%, whereas SOL up by about 30%. So that makes ETH crypto of the day with that higher or better performance over the 30 and 90 days. And nonetheless, SOL is leading the 24 hours crypto rally and the 7-day crypto rally. So coming back to SOL's regression based valuation, right now the fair value of SOL is at around $156 or $57. The fair value is calculated by using this polynomial regression function, which goes up in the bull market and goes down in the bear market. Unfortunately, as SOL has not had a bullish seasonality since Jan 2025, this fair value is coming down. But if let's say the price makes a new high from that Jan 2025 high, this again this regression function is dynamic and reacts to the latest price action and then potentially could have a bullish upswing. Right now what needs to be seen is if the price action were to go to that $320 target, that would usher in a euphoria phase for SOL. Whenever this one standard deviation residual drawn to the upside, the price goes to the close proximity of that level like it did back in March 2024. That was a huge SOL season back then. SOL was the major, Solana was the major narrative back in February March 2024 time period, when the price rose from almost $8 level to $200 level in almost less than 1.5 to 2 years from that December 2022 drop to the March 2024 highs. So that's a little under 1.5 year. What remains to be seen to the upside if there is more euphoria for Sol. The 2 standard deviation residual right now comes at around $650 level. So those are the two target per the regression based valuation. First being the $320 target, which is a non-euphoria target for Sol, and the target with euphoria at $650. So that is kind of close with what machine learning based targets are, but not exactly the same. The euphoria case per the machine learning model is close to $570, and the non-euphoria, I believe, for Sol is at around $386, so slightly higher than the regression based value on the non-euphoria side, but the euphoria case for Sol for the regression models is slightly higher than the machine learning ones. How does that relate with the technical levels? This 1.61 is at the 1.618 fib level of somewhat of a key importance if there is a new all-time high at around $417, and that is slightly closer to that $397 or $386 weekly average. If the weekly average price is at around $390, roughly speaking, that weekly high could be closer to $417. The 2.618 Fibonacci level corresponds to the price action to $670 for Sol. That is again the euphoria ceiling. The orange line over here is culminating at around, roughly speaking, 600, and whereas this is 670. The 2 standard deviation residual regression based valuation for Sol comes slightly closer to that level if you add that orange line over here at around $650. That is the cutoff point. But what you can see that in the last conclusion of the last rally, that is in 2021, the price, whenever it goes above the orange line, it spends about a couple of weeks above that level, and the price action is again slightly about 10 to 20% higher than the orange line. So the orange ceiling back then was $201 in November 2021. The price went to $250, about 20% higher, slightly higher than 20% of the orange line. So similarly, $650 ceiling for this market cycle. If the price action were to do a 10 to 20% higher than that would be close to 2.618 per the technical levels and the regression levels confluence. If we were to look at the average of all the estimated bull run target for Sol based on the individual risk based model, the time weighted average price risk, this 20-week simple moving average price risk, and the regression risk, the estimated bull run peak is close to that $555 level target, close to the 2 standard deviation or euphoria machine learning based case for Sol at around $570, and closer to the midpoint of 1.618 and 2.618 on the Fibonacci based levels. And with that, I would like to conclude by saying the following. Again, no one knows for sure. In the short term, if there is a breakout, the $260 levels is an area of somewhat of an importance. The non-euphoria bull run case for Sol is close to that 1.618, between $390 and $420. The euphoria case is all the way between $570 and $670 for Sol. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.